Varun. So Varun is a HR professional with more than 12 years of experience in talent management, employee engagement, L&D, talent acquisition, branding, and excellence. So he was selected by the Global Collective Intelligence Platform of Samsung as a Mosaic. So just one second. Am I audible? Yeah. As a Mosaic Idea Mentor in 2020 and 2021. So he is now the CHRO for Navtech, and he's also one of our brightest, cohorts of the CHRO in Making program, which is the postgraduate diploma in HRM at XLRI. Just to give you a brief introduction of Anubha. Anubha is a seasoned HR professional with over 14 years of experience and advanced skills in recruitment, networking, and leadership development. She's a skilled strategist in designing the complete TA process. She's also received the Top Recruiter Award. Anubha now leads the head talent acquisition strategy at IntelliSmith. She's also one of our cohorts of the 22-23 batch. So welcome, and I would also like to, welcome team Lead Up, which is strongly led by Rashmi, who's also the co-founder for Lead Up. So thank you for joining. So we would have loved to have the introduction from each of our esteemed guests as well. But due to paucity of time, we will move on into our panel discussion. Now, as we all know, we had, put this topic up with the skills that are required to future-proof HR leaders. So I'd like to, throw this open to our panelists, Varun and Anubha. So, we all know we've gone through the pandemic era now. So what do you think has been the evolution of HR post the pandemic?
So, first of all, sorry, my throat is really bad. Sorry, guys. And Varun has already told me that as if I have come up with a band session with bad voice. So thanks, Varun. And also, very good question, Priya. The evaluation has happened throughout the organizations. And when we see the evaluation, it's not only the skills, it's the technology as well. So people who have been working within the organizations, they were thinking, what do they ever, get to work from other spaces? Will they ever use technology in such different formats? But now when the pandemic has hit, everything gone from 1 to, I think, 10. The speed was such that people did not even realize that this was actually available. I remember there were multiple Salesforce teams which were supposed to be working from the field only. They were literally doing calls from home, making client relationship from Zoom, and then taking the business ahead. So not only skills, the technology, and then the data that has been extremely important during the pandemic thing. And one more thing is, of course, we all need to go through this process of learning. If we are stagnated, if we are not learning, and if we are thinking of one thing only, making one thing as speciality of one particular person, then I think we are holding on to ourselves. We need to grow and always grow together. And I think the XLRI course is what me and Varun and we all are looking at right now, is actually helping us to grow and learn fast in the fast forward manner. Varun, if you can pitch in.
Yes, Anubha, thank you. You actually hit the nail on the point, right? So when this pandemic hit, it was a very, very different learning curve for every other division and for the HR division. For every other division, it was all about adjustment, okay, this the pandemic has hit, how will we start doing things? But for HR, it was not an adjustment. We had to switch gears immediately, within a day, within few hours. We didn't get time to adjust and understand and process what is this lockdown and everything else. So it was like immediate switching for us. So, and to I mean, I don't know how to describe it. We can't call it adapting. We can't call it adjustment. It was like simply just flicking a light switch. And everything was, so when things, when things come to that level, an organization is looking to the HR department for guidance and for push, on what things need to be done. In a situation where we ourselves didn't know what needs to be done. We ourselves, everyone, I mean, none of us were there in the last pandemic, so definitely there. And it was a very strange time for us. So when we are looking at talking about things for the future, I think I was just mentioning, Anubha really mentioned about our course. So some of the things that we learned in our course, the most important thing for me, the learning which has happened, did not happen from a prof, but one of our peers was explaining the class that learn, unlearn, and relearn. Simple fact. So whatever we are doing, we need to continue learning in our work. We need to, relearn things which I've already learned, and we need to unlearn. My earlier organization was very strict, no work from home ever for whatsoever reason. And from that, now we went for 2 years, longer than any other division in my particular organization. Our division worked from home the longest.
Okay.
And we had record-breaking profits and record-breaking sales during that time. So it was a complete shake-up of our management, also the beliefs of our management that something can be done and something cannot be done. So it was a complete relearning opportunity which was there. And one thing I really like what Anubha said, like the whole world right now, we are seeing people move towards specialization. Everywhere else. Everyone says you have to specialize in this, you have to specialize in this. You have to become the best in your niche field and put yourself up there so that, you are up for grabs for that. But in HR, it's been the opposite situation. As Anubha said, you need to be a generalist. You need to understand everything, right? And this is where this course actually helps, because we have professionals from L&D professionals. We have professionals who have been into only talent acquisition. We have professionals who have worked their entire life in a factory, never seen corporate HR, never seen any other processes other than factories. We have professionals who have never seen anything HR. They are legal professionals who have been in the legal field throughout. And for all of them, this is a very, very good, it's not just an introduction to HR sort of a certification thing that you do. It's actually a deep dive into the concepts of HR, which everyone, including generalists, as well as people who have specialized so far, compensation benefit specialists also, in fact. So all of them have actually, you can pick up something from this course. And this is where I really like, because for me, this course was all about, relearning things. But I think more than relearning, it helped me unlearn a lot of things and then learn a lot of new things. It was not just relearning old stuff. I was just coming in for the revision. I felt, let me revise whatever I've learned in HR. And then I realized I've not learned anything in HR, because within 10, 12 years, HR has become topsy-turvy. It has become completely new now. It is the new HR now. So this is something which is very important for this course, I think. And it helps. I mean, that is how we become future-proof, by continuously learning.
Yes. Very well said, Anubha and Varun. And I will take away that line, learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Relearn.
Yeah, that's really something that's going to stay with me, I'm sure, with everybody. So while we were talking, about, what everything has gone topsy-turvy. So what do you think are the skills that are really going to count now in the future for HR leaders? And, how do we acquire those skills would be more important?
So if I have to add on, the first thing is actually the business acumen.
Business acumen.
Absolutely. HR has to understand business. You really cannot work in isolation. If you don't understand the revenue part, how a strategic vision is aligned to your functional strategy or business strategy, how you're going to make an impact, I don't understand. I'll be honest. And this is what I'm doing now. I was also, 2 years back, as Rashmi was mentioning me in our one-to-one, that, Anubha, what is now different is the skill set, what you're learning from this particular, designation. That you will be working on the strategy part also, where I'm aligned with the business vision, business, goals, how my top line is seeing, how can I see my top line, what all is contributing to that. So business acumen is something which you need to learn. And the second thing, which is, of course, everybody is saying, it's technologically savvy. If you don't know, if you don't understand AI, if you don't understand metaverse, if you don't understand the next big thing, then you're literally losing it. And I think the folks who are here joined will also be, agreeing to the thought. People have to continuously, think beyond what is happening right now and what might impact their jobs in future. I remember Vineet Nayar's statement, and I think Varun will also, remember this. He said it's few years back that robotics will take the HR jobs, and people were literally struggling. Oh, what our jobs are gone. And then he designed the entire strategy. No, it's not going to be like you are going to be jobless. It's like what redundant work you are doing right now will be automated, and you'll be pushed to the productivity things, the efficient systems which you want to bring in. So I think these two are from my side. Varun can touch it.
So Varun, I'd really appreciate if you can, throw some light on how can we acquire. I think she's very well summarized in 2 points: business acumen and tech savviness. So what do you think? What will really help us acquire those skills?
See, for business acumen, this is something which historically HR has struggled with. We always expect that we should be given a seat at the table, and it never happens, and we end up doing things under someone's. So as a HR, we are always reporting to a HR, and there is only one person or maybe two persons in the company who are actually reporting to the leadership or the management. I think the way at least I have worked in my last 12 years, is to always be close to the business. So whichever field we are, it doesn't matter you are a specialized person or a generalist person, always try to think like a HR business partner. Always the way I have at least worked in every job and every role I have is, if I'm doing a certain thing, even a small thing, mundane as an engagement activity, not just a program or a thing, engagement activity, how does it benefit the business in whatsoever way? So if we have that kind of a mindset, and if we cultivate that kind of a mindset by thinking about each and every thing that we do in recruitment also, if I do it, what if I do it instead of 30 days? If I do it in 20 days, how does it help? What does this extra 10 days do to the business? How much of revenue actually comes to the business? How much of productivity comes to the business? That's very important. And the second thing, which at least I have seen, which is very sorry to say, most of us in HR, at least the colleagues I know, not our batch guys, but my other colleagues that I know, are woefully ignorant of what their own company does. We are siloed. As HR, we have always been siloed, and only when we get pulled out of the silo, like during the pandemic, then we see, oh, this is there, that is there, and we start doing everything. So we have the capability for doing everything, but we need to start coming out of the silo, because historically we have always been the confidential department, right? HR has to be within HR. We are not interacting much with others. I mean, I have seen many companies where people have told me they interact with HR during joining and during leaving. That's it. They have never had any interaction with HR. Unless you actually interact with the people, you will never know what is happening in the business. Your annual reports, your metrics will tell one story. But actually speaking to the people who are the frontline people, sales and customer service, every organization has some form of sales, every organization has some form of customer service, talking to the leaders. So it is not just about demanding it, command it. Go to the leaders, take their time out, try to learn what they're doing, and then use that to improve your own work and show people results. That this is what we have improved and this is where we have shown that. So this is only something you have to develop as your own passion, because if you stick to your own vertical, it doesn't happen. And thankfully, I have tried to do that. I have not been too successful, but I have tried to do that overall in my career. And I really understand my businesses. So that's at least one positive point, which is there, which is there. Although implementing it is not that easy, but it is still something we need to keep learning. That's the only way.
Great. So I'd like to invite views from our guest as well. So if you'd like to add something, will be great to hear from you as well. Shonan, I can see you. So would you like to add something here?
Hi, everybody. And sorry, I think that was the risk I ran by keeping my camera on. So, but thank you. I just have one thing to say. I think I love what Varun talked about, the how our entire world shifted over its head when at the start of COVID. And surprisingly, this is the new normal, right? It's no more that the world is going to go back to what it was, and people who do expect that might be in for quite a shock. Whether it is businesses themselves has changed quite drastically. You don't see the kind of buzz on a retail store that you expected or that you saw 2 years ago. And we've all experienced it. I think it's a great time for us within HR to therefore stop asking for that seat at the table and being at that seat at the table. I think for me, that's a good way to put it. And Anubha, thank you for talking about the business acumen. HR is not separate from business. We are business. At the end of the day, we are, we add the most amount of value to business. So those are my takeaways, and that's what I believe. I seem to be finding exciting about the program as well. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Shonan. I'd like to invite Vinutha, Mahipal, anybody else who would like to share their views, and then we'll open it to Q&A.
Hey, hi. First of all, thank you so much for coming in here, and it's kind of very helpful to. It's nice also to see the first batch of people as well, and in the same cohort, basically, from the HR vertical. I think. For a long time, I must accept that, for a set of people beyond an experience in HR, there was no such course that was offered by prestigious institutions like XLRI. So I think it's time that we had something like that. So I think it's a very good thought. And the second thing is, I think just a view where you could share experiences. How were you able to balance out the learning and make use of it, and kind of how did you really feel that experience, especially when, of course, all of you would be handling roles that would require a presence in an ambiguous way, right? So if you could share some experience on that, I think it would help our batch.
I can see both of our cohorts laughing. I'm sure, they'll come up with something out of
So it's like we know that it will happen, but, it is always nice to hear from you how, what was that experience? And I think each of us will figure out a way, but it would be nice to know from the first band.
I'll just pitch in because I had this recent experience, honestly. And I'm sorry, my throat is too bad. I joined one organization where the CEO understands the learning and he promotes learning. So when I say promote, he himself sponsors the courses to my team members. So every Friday at 4:30, he starts pushing me. You have to go, you have a class. You have to go, you have a class. Imagine. And this is what we really, and Varun must be laughing. Varun, did you get this from his CEO?
No.
So when you are in an organization where the learnings are valued, then you will really see that balance coming out easy. And I think also people need to invest in you. You are investing in yourself, but actually your learnings will impact the organization's success. So things will be working out if you are able to maintain that balance, and if you're able to show them the value which you will bring in from this course and how you will implement this to the organization and how things will be successful once you have got those learnings. So what we do in my company, the AI learnings or the digital transformation course, I'll just give you a quick example. The course we just finished and the learnings of conversational AI. Now my company is actually doing this as a pre-screening questionnaire where we are talking to candidates through our bot and we are feeding those things to that particular AI bot and we are getting the learnings up from there. So my learnings are actually helping organization, and that's how the balance is coming out. And yes, of course, it's not so easy. My first initial 3 months, I remember I bugged up Priya like anything. And I called up everybody that am I really making, a correct choice? Because It's really tiring, and you really don't get balance easily. So yes, it needs to be worked out. Vinudha. I don't think so. It will be an easy task, but yes, once you are in it, you will be habitual of it. That's what I can say.
While I really appreciate Anubha's generosity, but it's indeed a privilege to have her as a part of the first cohort. So thank you, Anubha. I hope so. Maybe Varun would like to throw some light on this, to answer Vinuta's.
Oh, yes, yes. Even I am privileged to have Anubha as part of our cohort. I can throw light on that for sure. But other factors, see, this, when you talk about how what we study in the course gets implemented, it is never a straightforward thing. It's never like you learn a particular course and then you implement it straightforward next day in your company. It's a long journey, and you have to actually see where it fits pieces. So for me, the fitting of the pieces, so it actually happened twice. Twice, which I could clearly remember, unconsciously and subconsciously, it could be in many situations. So the first one happened just recently with our Charmi Patel's course, Anubha. She was talking about a certain model, how startups and how talent development happens in startups versus a talent development in a big organization, and what are the differences we have. And she has made her material open source. So she said you can share it with your MD and with your team, and you can discuss. So I had taken a screenshot of that and I sent it to my MD. So he actually threw a light on it and he said, "No, Varun, you have to look at this from not just our perspective. We have to look at hiring talent from the client's perspective. So there is a dual perspective in it. It's not just where the person stands in our life cycle, but where the person stands in their life cycle. So it's about culture fitment in two areas, not just in our area." Because my MD is very, very, very much into culture fitment. He keeps talking about culture fitment a lot. So I actually put it out to Charmi Patel, who's a great prof, who taught us a SADT course. So I actually put it out to her and she loved it. And she was like, "This is true." So I was actually able to make a connect, and she actually talked about it 2 times in the class, specifically mentioning me that, this is what Varun had said, and this is a very good perspective on that. So what my learning was that I was able to use my course aspect to talk to my MD. I was able to give his inputs, which benefited the whole class and even my professor. That was very good connect which I made. And the second thing was a very live one. I don't know if Anubha remembers it or not. So it happened during a last campus visit. So it was in the middle of the class. We just had a break. Okay, there was a nice concept, on how to deal with angry people and how to deal with, errant people, which Rahul Shukla, a great communication prof, had taught us. And I had a phone call from my associate who was getting very irritated by one finance professional who was just hell bent on making her life miserable. So I was a very hot-headed guy. So I started lashing out. I mean, I was not lashing out on her, but I was lashing out at her. Why is he talking like that? Why is he talking like that? I just cooled down for 5 minutes and I said, "Okay, Rahul Shukla taught us this. Let me use the process to the test." Exact same steps what he told. I told my associate. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Just follow this, and you will be able to bring that person under control. No surprise at all. After a few hours, when we had a lunch break and I called her, what happened? She said, "Varun, it worked. Your steps worked actually. I was able to control that person and our job is done." So it was a very small example, but it really hit me. I told Rahul then and there, I used what you taught us within just few hours, because the situation arose where I knew I had to learn what to teach, what you taught. And the brilliant part about this course is each subject is not siloed. Something which is taught in the first subject, we can use the concepts in a future subject. We have used Rahul Shukla's concepts in another subject for preparing a case presentation. We have used similar case analysis, strategic business analysis, structures in 2-3 different courses. Right. So it is not about even people are not teaching us the same thing. It's about how to apply it in different scenarios. So that actually helps us in the long run. And for me, that's been a brilliant learning. So I could only give 2 cases, but if I think I can come up with multiple cases where this actually the course helped me, navigate in my work.
Yeah. Great. I hope that helps you, Vinudha.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Varun. Thank you, Anubha. So I'd like to now formally open the forum for the Q&A. So I'd like request everybody who has any questions to come forward. And
I have a question, Priya. Before.
Yes.
before we call in. So Varun and Anubha, you've been both part of the group, and both of you, in fact, we were just from Lead Up, we were trying to sort of figure out the growth movement of all the participants in the batch, and we thought about 40% of the people have seen a growth in terms of internal growth, external growth, etc. Varun, you've just become a CHR of a new organization. Anubha, you've also joined a new organization. So how much do you think this course has helped you get to that, get to these new roles?
You go first, Varun, now. Let's reverse the order.
Okay, you can rest your throat for extra while. Yeah. So see, I would not completely say that the course was directly responsible for my, where I am right now, because the situations where I am right now is totally different, and it has a special circumstance to it. But in the last 1.5 months, since I've been in this particular role, I think a lot of things where I'm learning in the course, I'm able to apply, because right now I'm in that position where I'm able to directly speak with my head sales, with my MD very, very freely, and there is an open line of communication. I have a small team, which I'm trying to handle. Where I think Mayank was there in the call, but thanks to what we had a discussion, one-to-one mentorship discussion, that was very useful. Those points still are there in my mind, so I'm now using them to help develop my relationship with the team. But the best thing about this course was that even during the time when I was there in my earlier role, right, it kept me thinking more and more about what I was doing in work. It was not like only I can do what my boss tells me to do, but I was still searching based on what I was learning, where I can keep contributing to my work. So I was always going to my boss and saying, this is something which we can do. This is something which I feel is relevant. And I should not just go and tell Hawabazi, this is relevant. I should give them why. I should prepare a small case, let's saying, this is why it is relevant. This is point 1, point 2, point 3. Whether that was accepted or not, that's a separate story. But at least I started thinking that way. And I think had I actually been very serious in the job market, it would have really helped me, because when you anyway go out for interviews and or you apply for any leadership position, you need to showcase not just what you are doing, but what you can add value to the position you are going to go to, right? And that is where this course helps, because it develops your mind in such a way that you are exposed to so many different things, which you may or may not have been exposed to during your work time, but you don't know it. It is somewhere deeply rooted. It brings everything out. So that is where I think
the right time at the interview with the people that you're speaking when you're actually working in the organization.
Yes. So it actually helps develop your mindset in that.
Beautiful.
Yeah?
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, Anubha, your turn.
Thank you for that additional 2 seconds. So I think the one thing which has improved after this course is the analysis. What we used to do earlier and now how we do it now. So because the learnings has helped us to understand the nitty-gritty of that particular thing. Also, the ideology has changed. Now we were working on the individual roles. We have moved to a team role. Now we are leading a team. So when you're leading a team, your entire focus depends on how can I contribute? Is my contribution related to the organization's alignment? And how can you analyze the impact? So I think these 3 things has helped me, and this is what making me grow with the organization. And this has happened during our course. Like Varun rightly said, all the courses are so connected that you can easily create a storyboard out of this. And that's how we are creating the understanding of that particular thing.
Very nice. Storyboarding, etc.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So Rajiv, can I request you to just have show us the screen of the guest so I can, probably.
Yeah, till that time, I think Vishal, you can give a little bit of a
Yes.
background on the program as well. Yeah. You're on
Vishal,
mute.
Mute.
Hi everyone, I'm Raghu. Hi Varun and I, Anubha. So I have a question here. Yeah, already most of them was asked that how course was helped to see that change in your what I can say, behavioral and perception, whatever it may be. Only I just want to know that post completion of this course, what are all the changes you have adopted in your perception and approach towards the organization, the business acumen or organization development?
So Raghu, just to let you know, they're still in the process.
Yes.
Yes, so they haven't still finished with the program, but I'm sure, they can give your views about how they've been. So they've already spoken about it, but I'm sure a lot. Yes. So
Maybe I missed the initial conversation. I just
Okay.
joined a little late.
Okay. So Varun, do you want to briefly cover that once again?
Sure. So as I said, the course is still going, and I think we are only halfway there into the course. So there is a lot more left to learn in the course. But the way, so the learning in this course, for me at least, so I'll add a different point to what I was mentioning earlier. The learning in this course for me has been twofold. Okay. The first is the learning through the professors, and I think some of the brilliant minds, both from Excel and from abroad and other professors. I mean, Excel has paid nothing, in getting us the best professors. In other courses, people read the books of certain person, and we are having that person teaching us, interacting with us. And it's not just someone who's, just giving us some gyan, some theoretical gyan or something. It's actually people, actual CHROs are teaching us courses, taking their time out, etc. So that's something really very impactful for us, because if we see someone is being very serious about teaching us, we are also wanting to be very serious about learning those things. So when you talk about implementation part, this is very see, you need time to implement things, right? So it is not immediate. So I think we are still in the middle of the course. I think once we get to the end, we'll be able to better piece, as Anubha said, it's like a storyboard. Lots of things are linked to each other. But we are already using certain elements, certain individual portions of the course we are using in our work. I gave some examples of, how I could interact with my MD as well as with my professor and make a connect in a particular situation. There was a situation where I could deal with a very errant employee on how to communicate with them properly, errant senior employee, by the way. So how I could communicate with properly. So this actually is. And the second aspect for me, the learning from this course, Raghu, comes not just from the professors, it's from the peers, the cohort itself. I mean, our cohort is fantastic. I still remember we had a subject for which we had to submit the presentation next day, and we were late night till 3:30 in the morning, me and my cohort, which was majority, female. And I mean, they had kids, some of them had kids sleeping on the lap and everything, and we were still invested in the presentation. I mean, that's how serious we were, even though it was not even a HR subject. It was a different subject, but we were so invested in the presentation, so much so, once we received the group marks for that, we were all so pumped up. It's like almost all of us have gone back to our college days, right? When you receive marks and you receive that validation that we have put in that hard work. So, and it was a good learning for us also. It was because when we were sitting together, for me, I mean, most of the people, my cohort is much senior to me. So it's a extremely valuable learning, from where they interpret certain situations and the way they contribute to the class. So for me, that's a huge learning for me in this particular course, getting to learn not just from the best minds in the academia, but also to learn from the best minds in the industry. So
hope that answers your questions, Raghu.
Yes, I got it. Thank you. Thank you, Varun.
Thank you so much, Varun. Thank you so much, Anubha. It's really nice to have you here. And just, throwing some more light on the various aspects of the program. I mean, we are coming up with the second batch of the same program now. And for the second batch, I would like to just, put certain things on the table that this is one of its kind program with XLRI. And what makes this one different from the other programs is that, it is not about the theological or the theoretical learning. It is more about the practical knowledge and interacting with the right kind of people, and then building your own network, which can help you take your career trajectory forward. Right. So this is one very important aspect of this kind of a program. Also, like for the first time, we have come up with a blended methodology wherein beside the live interactive sessions, which will be held twice a week, we'll also be having these in-person immersions, which again serves as a huge networking platform. You not only get to meet your cohorts, the faculties, but also, there are other industry leaders who come down in these immersions. And of course, it's a great learning for all of us. So from that perspective, this program is very different from many of its kind that are there in the market right now, right? So I would like to invite all the members here to come up with their questions, any apprehensions that they have, so that they can get more clarity, since we already have the people from the first batch in here. And of course, when we have such a kind of a cohort, right, it also inspires and motivates us to put in extra effort, and that does not come as something extra that we are doing. We keep ourselves updated and at par with the rest of the learners, right? So it comes very organically, right? So from that perspective, I would like to invite anybody who'd like to ask any questions.
Any questions, guys? Because our class is never this silent, when the prof says any questions. We have hands raised up, like 10 people's hands are raised up simultaneously, that we can't even see the prof. We have to scroll down to see the prof. And yes, video on is mandatory for all our courses. No video off, that doesn't work at all. So
I think Hiral has put up a question in the chat window.
Yeah. So basically, she is in the office. She can't actually put up a question. So, Priya, can you please say it on her behalf?
Yes. So what Hiral wants to know is, can Varun, you and Anubha share your learning during the course about strategy planning and how to be in a leading role with examples, if you can share some?
Strategy planning and how to be in a...
So your learnings during the course about strategy planning and some examples.
You would like to take this, Anubha, first?
Sure. So,
has there been a course around strategy planning till now? Because you just only about finished 6 months, right? So there's still a year to go. So I'll be candid.
So I think what we have learned from the strategy planning right now, it's about connecting pieces together. And how do you define the levels? Like, it was very easy to get a functional strategy in place, but then extrapolating from that functional strategy, going to the business strategy, and then making it work for the entire organization is what we have learned. And we are still learning from the Chris Shankar's course, and it's about getting the jobs done. And I think Varun can very well relate how we were using the Nadler-Bushman model, how to actually bring together everything, and how do you put the correct input to the correct output, and which all factors to be taken in consideration while we are creating the strategy. So every single course has helped us in maintaining that particular aspect of strategy. And also, it's not like only one part, or it's not like it's working now and won't work afterwards. It's like every time you have to bring a new thought, create that connect again, a different strategy altogether, and then go with the flow. That's what we are learning right now. And the course is going on, so you can connect with us. And thanks, Rashmi.
You did mention about Chris Shankar. So you have practitioners coming and giving you strategic sessions. So why don't you tell everybody?
Sure.
I'm very glad to tell, know more about that.
It's like a big impact.
And Chris Shankar is the CHRO,
Global HR head of
Global HR head of Infosys, and one of the thought leaders, top 5 HR leaders in the country.
We have Raj Narayan, who's the ex-CHRO of Titan. Yes. We have Arul Devraj, who's the SGX CHRO, Singapore Bank. Then we had studied from Avdesh Krishna, who was from the BlackRock.
He was a Asia Pacific head of what's his name?
Harish Krishna. वो Nomura Bank, I'm sorry.
Nomura.
Right, Nomura Bank, yeah. So guys, I think if you are really looking at, it's such a great platform to see practitioners coming in, HR leaders coming in, and then telling you not only, so that I don't see any theory coming from their content. It's all practical. How do you learn everything from case? How would you, so if you have been in that place, how would you have, created a strategy? That's what we are learning these days. And when we see these thought leaders in front of you, you'll be like highly, you feel intimidated also, and you feel excited also. Because whatever you're saying, you're not just putting jargons in front of these thought leaders. You really cannot afford to. But when you're creating content and they are candid enough to tell you, hey, this thought is not right. And that is what you want to know. Whether you are correct in your own mindset, whether you are saying the correct things. And that is what the strategy we are doing these days. And we are extremely happy to have these thought leaders.
Varun, you want to talk a little bit about the mentors also that you all are experiencing, both Anubha and Varun, if you can go first.
Yes. So, I can correlate well with Anubha's point about jargons, because Krish was very brutal. Very softly brutal that day when he said, stop this jargon, get to the core point, and he actually guided us well. Even he was giving us the point and inputs. It was like a bouncing back of ideas. It was a very productive session that day. And yes, the mentorship program is also very good. Almost all of my batchmates, we keep talking about that. We have some excellent mentors from within the industry. So they are, this is not just some random luck of the draw assignment kind of a mentorship program which is there. So there's a lot of information which is taken from you initially. There is a lot of information, on how the mentorship should go, which is taken from the mentor. And based on both the information provided, there is a pairing up which is done. So pairing up is done not just based on location or industry. It's also based on where you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years, and who is the best person who can guide you accordingly to reach where you want to be. So the mentorship program is good, and the mentorship which is happening from a lead up side, that was something. So this was during the time when I was in the mid of my career break, and I had a session with Mayank. So I just remember there was less talk by Mayank and more talk by me, which is not a rare thing. That's the usual norm. But the way Mayank was asking those pointed questions, crisp and pointed questions, and just trying to hammer down the point, it helped me learn a little bit more about myself. And that mentorship session was very useful when I joined my current job, because it made me understand where I'm going wrong. So I always knew there was some issue with on how I manage my team. So it actually made me aware of something where that this is where I need to improve on that, and I'm actually slowly but surely trying to implement it with my team here. So that was really helpful.
Thank you so much. So Mayank is the co-founder for LeadUp, and we actually end up giving some amount of sort of career coaching kind of mentoring services and to the cohort. So that's what Varun has been talking about. So yeah, so great. You all talked about Krish Sankar. We actually also did an event in Bangalore about 3 weeks back, where we actually sort of try and get people in the room and try and per city we try and do some kind of a networking event, especially and the cohort sort of leads it. In fact, the Bangalore chapter actually 8-10 people from the batch, they actually led the entire session. So it was beautiful. So yeah, so just giving you all a glimpse of what happens in the course.
So great. Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you, Varun. And I would also now want Akanksha, Shikha, you had some queries, and, so if you can put them here, it'll be a great, we have the cohorts here. So please, if you want to bring it up. Shikha, do you want to, bring up your question?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Basically, my question is that at this scenario, at the situation where the competition is so high and, getting into the good colleges is so difficult, where this online certificate or diploma will be holding a value. I am an experienced person. I'm having 15 years of experience. So where should I expect myself after 18 months of completion of this course?
So, Anubha, do you want to, where you started, do you want to describe what was your mindset when you actually, I know you had a lot of conflict before deciding to go ahead with the program. I'm sure you would be the best person to address this.
So, I would like to say it's a great question and a very valid question, and good you have one, seriously. So, this will help you in bringing clarity while you're making your decisions. Shikha, I think it's all about what you are looking at. What is it that you are desired? What is the desired outcome? If you're thinking for a brand, yes, Accelerate, it's a well-known brand. Okay. And we said it's one of the best, only course which was started, which is interactive, which is where learning is available from anywhere, any part of the world. Okay. Where the faculties are national, international practitioners, you get support from everywhere. Okay, be it peers, like Varun mentioned, you get learnings from your mentors, you get learning from practitioners, and the international faculty, the exposure, the value they bring in. And I don't know how many HBR cases you must have read it up till now. Tell me. We have a glossary. How many we have read? I don't think so. We literally put this much of learning in our day-to-day basis. Even how many times you have put in 4 hours only for your learning. So this is what will bring that particular discipline in your life, when you would really like to focus on yourself, your learning, your growth. And of course, after 18 months, you will see a better Shikha Mahatma, what you are currently. This is what the course will bring. Rest Varun can pitch in.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to, understand how this, course is being recognized by the market. When we are going to say that yes, we have done an executive MBA, but it's through online, and at the same time we also have a candidate who has done his full-time course from Freeman Institute. So here, when we are spending 15 lakhs, and so is this course actually going to give a value, ROI?
So Shikha, so I think I am one of the best qualified persons to answer this question. Okay.
Okay.
So I think there is only one Varun Reddy Seva in the entire world, so you can check me up on LinkedIn. So I have done my full-time 2 years full-time course from MBA from IIM Lucknow. Okay, this was around 15 years ago. Okay, in 2009. Okay. Right. I graduated with both. I mean, I had HR and finance. I was having a dual specialization from there. Right. So for me, this course, I never looked at it like an online course. For me, the biggest attraction in this course was, it was done by Accelerate. In HR, doesn't matter how many IIM degrees that you have tagged along with you. Only some international degrees or Accelerate matters. Other degrees don't matter too much. They do, but I'm saying if you look at the pecking order, Accelerate is up. That's the first thing. Second thing, it is not some 6-month or 9-month certification course which is there. I've had many friends. I've had a colleague who joined, a senior leadership certification program in Accelerate. It's a good certification. I've heard about it a lot, and he joined. So he was telling, that we were taught future of work, and we were recommended Gyan Nagpal's book. And I told him, we were recommended his book. We actually learned from Gyan Nagpal using the same book, but Gyan Nagpal was also teaching us the course, which was there, right? So this particular course which is there has a very strong academic value as of now, and a very strong learning value. Now, when you talk about positioning in the market, this is something which Accelerate is already working on it, because it's the only long-term CHRO course which is there. Every other course you see in the market is either short-term or it is not interactive at all. You have pre-recorded videos. Your courses, CHRO courses are plenty, but none of them is this long-term and none of them is this interactive. Imagine in a space of 1.5 years, we are having 3 times we are meeting, and 3 times is 18 days. 18 days of on-campus immersion, meeting up with the best of the minds, the profs, and meeting up with your batchmates, etc. That has a very, very different learning experience, which is there. But with respect to the marketing and all, of course, this is just the first batch. We are into just 6 months into this. We started in March. We are in December, so okay, 9 months into this course. So that is something which at least I see a lot of work being done by both LeadUp as well as XLRI into marketing this course. It will take some time, definitely, but you have a lot of industry. So when you have our on-campus meetings, etc., you have a lot of industry practitioners coming. So the word is already out there in the industry. You have many events which LeadUp is also organizing, where our batchmates are being called and many other HR stalwarts are being called. And through this, definitely the word of the course will go. But for me, the value of this course does not come with a degree. I already have a spectacular degree. I can show it out anywhere where I want it. But it's the learning aspect of this course for me which really stands out. And I'm sure in the future, this is something which will propel this course to greater heights also. And already LeadUp and Excel are doing a great work, to try to market this course, in a very big way for that. I hope that answers.
Thank you, Varun. And I think we've already exceeded time.
Yeah.
So, if you have any queries, I'm sure you have the numbers, our contact numbers. So I'll just quickly ask Rashmi to take a minute and give the closing notes, and then we'll, say thank you to all of you.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add into what Varun and Anubha talked about this program. The question was that, how is it different from the regular, the other programs? So 2 things. One, of course, is this program is only meant for senior leaders. It's not, please do not, sort of compare this program with the XLRI program, which is for freshers who, come into the program after finishing their graduation or with 1 or 2 years of experience. This program, minimum experience level is 8 years. The average experience sitting in the class right now, in fact, these 2 are batchmates from there, is about 16 to 18 years. That's the average. And there are a lot of people with 20 plus years of experience as well. Secondly, this is a AICTE recognized program. AICTE recognized program is way ahead. It's a degree program. You get a diploma. XLRI, even the regular program, they get a diploma. So you get a diploma here from AICTE recognized. So this is valid for the rest of your life. It's not a certificate. Thirdly, the professors are going to be our same professors. It's the same XLRI, the Jamshedpur professors as well as the Jhajjar professors who teach the full-time batch as well. But the how they teach, they will not be telling you in this point of time. And these people are not being, they're all senior HR leaders. Varun Reddy is already a CHRO. Anubha is leading the TA function. You not tell them what is hiring and what is HR. The kind of conversations which happen in this program is all about how, with your experience in HR, how can you go and be a true partner to the business, and how can you take the organization to the next level? So that's the third differentiation. So please do not compare it with the program, because this is a very different program, and the treatment also is very different. In fact, this international facilitators, you have Wayne Brockbank, David Krasinski, all coming in from Michigan State University and all. You don't get it in the regular program. The access to the practitioners, you don't get it in any other program. Mentoring one-on-one, you don't get it with anybody else. Mentoring with LeadUp and coaching with LeadUp, you don't get it with anybody else. And it's 15 lakhs. If you go out and see in the market, the 15 lakhs program is, there are a couple of online programs, but this is, as Varun and Anubha also talked about, is a hybrid program where it's live learning, hybrid, practitioner-oriented, practical-oriented, and taking you to the next level where we actually truly want you to become the next leaders, the C-suite leaders in the coming years. So that's the differentiation. And online, because all of you are working, it's not a program where you're coming and looking for a job. You already have a job, you just better yourself. That's what you're looking at getting into this program.
In fact, excel.
Yeah. And plus, the XLRI brand and stamp.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you, everyone. And we will reach out to you, or you have our number. So do reach out to us if you have any queries, and we'll try our best to answer them for you. Thank you so much.
Vishal, there is some, I think there is some spot discount if people, sort of register today or something like that.
Yeah. So we are just opening up with the registrations discount right now. So if anyone registers today, that person will be entitled to get a discount of 10,000 rupees. which will be applicable in one of the installments. So guys, go ahead, and if you have any questions, just reach us and we'll be more than glad to assist you with that.
Thank you.
Registration for today, or it's applicable to those who registered? Sorry, didn't get you, Vishal.
So those people who will be registering today till
It's
midnight.
a new registrations you're talking.
The new registrations, yes.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vishal.
Varun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anubha. Thank you,
Varun.
everyone.
Thank
for
you,
taking
Thank you
Anubha.
so
Thank
much.
you, Rashmi.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you, Anubha.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you, team. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Varun. Thank you, Anubha. Yeah. Lovely having you both.
Same.